Nobody could predict that this dude would be sitting on trial for his life. It just wasn't in the cards.
What's confusing is all of those things that you just said are also included in the racketeering count.
So we don't know what the vote is.
So we don't know what the vote is. It's hard to read what they...
When Angelina Jolie walked into that courtroom, it wasn't just another celebrity sighting. It was a full-blown shift in power. One of Hollywood's most elusive and guarded figures. A woman who spent decades dodging paparazzi and fiercely shielding her children from headlines was suddenly front and center. No camera could truly capture the heat in that room, but insiders say the tension was electric. This wasn't just about taking down Diddy, this reached all the way to Brad Pitt. And what played out felt less like a legal proceeding and more like a legacy unraveling in real.
Separate, what we know is that there will be a sentencing hearing. The prosecution has said we're going to ask for a good deal of time. We don't know exactly what that is. And the defense obviously wants no time at all. So two different hearings on two different issues.
Real time. Angelina's testimony didn't just rattle Diddy's camp, cracked open the carefully protected circle of Hollywood elites. For years, she's been framed as a humanitarian, a private force for good. But when she named names, including her ex-husband, everything shifted. This wasn't tabloid gossip anymore, it was war. The courtroom transformed into a battlefield, and every word she spoke peeled back another layer of Hollywood's pristine image. You could feel it. The end of the illusion had begun. Angelina Jolie's courtroom appearance didn't just rattle the room, it detonated it. According to insiders present, she was calm, calculated, and spoke with a clarity that left jaws clenched and lawyers scrambling. Her testimony reportedly linked sealed documents, Diddy's now infamous freak-off parties, and shockingly, Brad Pitt. She claimed Pitt not only knew about some of these events, but may have actively helped keep them quiet. The question, echoing through the courthouse, wasn't just why she came forward, but why now? Some speculate pressure from prosecutors. Others believe this was a premeditated strike by someone who's played the fame game better than anyone. And if that's true, Hollywood's old guard is officially under siege. But what truly set the courtroom on fire were whispers about the tapes. Yes, those tapes. A former security contractor claims that private recordings exist, audio evidence of Brad Pitt and Diddy locked in a heated argument. One alleged clip has Diddy warning Pitt to keep his mouth shut after one of those high parties spiraled out of control. No cameras, no phones, just illustrates excess and the kind of secrets that cost fortunes to bury. If those tapes are real, they could take down more than reputations. We're talking careers, empires, and now, those very tapes may be part of a sealed evidence exchange Angelina handed over in return for immunity. A quiet deal that's louder than any headline. And this isn't just about Diddy. Terrence Howard recently came forward, claiming Diddy invited him under the pretense of acting lessons, only to sit silently and stare. Creepy on its own. But now it reads like part of a pattern. Multiple insiders describe these gatherings as ritualized environs, not parties, but pressure chambers. Places where fame and fear bled into silence, where NDAs weren't enough, and the only way out was compliance or complicity. And now, with Jolie testifying, that silence is fracturing. It begs the question, what did she see in those years? With Brad Pitt, was he just brushing shoulders with Diddy or standing in the shadows while it all went down? And don't forget, this isn't the first time Pitt's name has floated near Diddy's orbit. Rumors have long swirled about his presence at networking retreats in Miami and LA, the kind of private, invite-only scenes where phones were confiscated and cameras banned. Back then, it was brushed off as Hollywood excess. Now, those same nights feel like cover for something darker. And if Angelina's really turned over emails or texts that place Brad anywhere near that chaos, it changes everything. Pitt wouldn't be a footnote in this investigation. He'd be a person of interest. But the real twist, the leverage, sources say Angelina may have made this move, not to protect herself criminally, but she's built an empire on humanitarian work, global activism, and motherhood. Even a hint of scandal could crack that legacy. And if prosecutors came knocking, she may have done what power players always do, strike a deal. Give them just enough to protect her brand, and in doing so, crack open the darkest corners of Diddy's empire, drag Brad Pitt straight into the fire. The fallout is no longer just legal, it's existential. Hollywood's elite are staring down a reckoning that feels more like a purge. Angelina Jolie's testimony wasn't just a swing at Diddy or Brad Pitt, it was a wrecking ball aimed at an entire era of protected power, silent rooms, and red carpet illusions. According to insiders, federal agents aren't stopping at Diddy. They're peeling back layers of events, guests, payments, cover-ups where the most unthinkable truths were dressed up as glamorous nights out. And now that Jolie's positioned as a key witness, not just an informant, the message is clear. They're going for the core. What started as whispers about freak-offs has spiraled into a sweeping investigation that could redefine everything we thought we knew about fame, protection, and the price of silence. And Brad Pitt, he's no longer just a bystander in the narrative, with sources claiming his team frantically tried to erase digital footprints connecting him to Diddy's inner circle. The pressure is boiling over. Those old red carpet moments and behind-the-scenes cameos no longer harmless coincidences. If even half the rumors about these tapes are true, and if Pitt's name is on even one guest list or overheard in one hushed hallway conversation, the fallout could be catastrophic. Remember, his image has been built like a fortress: philanthropy, fatherhood, prestige. But if that image was propped up by silence while chaos festered behind velvet ropes, then Hollywood's golden boy might be standing on borrowed time. So, what now? Agents are lawyering up, studios are canceling meetings, and for the first time, the old rules don't apply. The ones that used to protect A-listers from scandal, bury stories with payouts, and erase digital receipts are failing. Because when someone like Angelina Jolie breaks the code and truly speaks it, forces everyone to look. And maybe that's the most dangerous part. Because she didn't just expose Diddy, she cracked the illusion. And with one courtroom appearance, made it painfully clear, the house of cards is swaying, and the wind is picking up. This is about what was built behind the curtain, an entire ecosystem that may have enabled and protected Diddy's behavior for decades. Insiders say federal investigators are now pursuing a trail that doesn't just lead to hidden camera footage or eyewitness testimony, but to the very boardrooms and brand deals that help sanitize his public image. And if the whispers are true, some of Hollywood's most powerful management firms are already preparing for fallout, redrafting NDAs, ghosting former clients, and shredding anything that even smells like complicity. Because the feds aren't just interested in Diddy, they're interested in who kept the machine running. And here's where the panic gets real. Major stars, who once casually partied with Diddy, actors, athletes, award-winning producers, are suddenly realizing that a forgotten appearance on a yacht or a quick red carpet photo could now be reinterpreted as something darker. Beyoncé and Jay-Z's carefully managed empire, for example, is reportedly in full lockdown. Their teams are combing through old footage, canceling upcoming collaborations, and applying pressure on platforms to suppress resurfacing clips. The goal: survival. The stakes: everything. Meanwhile, Usher's quiet demeanor isn't fooling anyone. He's become a key point of interest just for his personal experience living with Diddy as a teen, but for the chain reaction his potential testimony could ignite. If he speaks, even indirectly, he could validate years of rumors that were once dismissed as gossip. That kind of confirmation could turn the tide against a whole tier of celebrity elites. And Bieber, the footage is damning. Not illegal, necessarily, but deeply uncomfortable. From car rides to house parties to intimate performances, every clip is now being scrutinized like evidence. The question isn't just what he saw, but what was normalized in front of him. Because in the end, this isn't just about crime, it's about culture. A culture where fame cloaked abuse, where power silenced witnesses, and where the industry's brightest stars were conditioned to smile and look away. But now, as the dam breaks, those smiles are fading and every silence is starting to sound like guilt. The truth wasn't just ignored, it was systematically buried, enabled, whitewashed, and in some cases, according to sources close to the investigation, it was deliberately covered up. Legal analysts say the case is leaning toward guilt, but the complexity of racketeering law gives the defense room to maneuver. Jurors aren't just weighing evidence, they're weighing perception. He's not Tony Soprano, one expert said. Some people just won't see it as organized crime. But what if the organization was Hollywood? And then there's Ray J. His words were quiet, but the impact explosive. He claims celebrities are paying hush money to keep whistleblowers out of the line of fire. Somebody knows the truth. Somebody's getting paid to stay silent. He warned. He didn't name names, but insiders say at least 3 Oscar winners are in the crosshairs. That's not gossip. That's an extinctional level event. This isn't a scandal. It's an infestation, and it's crawling with fame. We've seen it before, but not like this. Weinstein had a face. Epstein had an island. This is Hydra-headed. Untouchable names still walk red carpets, headline streaming deals, and get cover stories in glossy magazines. The system didn't just protect them, it glorified them. And the cracks are only visible now because someone as insulated as Angelina Jolie said, "No more." That whisper became a roar, and the industry is now trembling. So where do we go from here? Will the tapes surface? Will the emails drop? Will Jolie burn the entire house down? Because make no mistakes, she knows names, she knows places, she knows how to bring this tower down brick by brick. And if that happens, we're not talking about one man's fall. We're talking about a demolition, a legacy turned to rubble, a culture shattered under the weight of its own secrets. Angelina was never supposed to be part of this mess, a humanitarian, a global ambassador, a Hollywood legend, and yet here she is, dragged into the darkness because she saw too much. If someone like her can get caught in the blast radius, then who else is standing right next to the bomb? And if this isn't just about Diddy, then how many others built their careers in the same shadows? The reckoning has arrived, and it's hungry. So here's the real question. When the last mask falls, who's still going to be standing in the light? Because this story isn't slowing down. If anything, it's picking up speed, and with every leak, every document, every voice finally unmuzzled, the curtain gets pulled back a little more. So stay sharp, stay loud, and remember, the real show is just beginning. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who's next? The truth isn't done yet.